What comes next now that XRP has hit its highest point ever? What other factors should we be watching closely at the moment that might cause the price of XRP to go higher during this cycle? Approximately 8 or 10 of the factors that I currently perceive might significantly accelerate what we are holding will be covered in this video. So let's proceed and look at this first. The SEC and Ripple case is the first item we must thoroughly comprehend since, in my opinion, it should be dropped. Before the SEC approves the XRP spot ETFs, we need the SEC to appear in court with Ripple on August 15th and withdraw their cross-appeal. Only Ripple has withdrawn their cross-appeal as of this writing. The SEC hasn't done it yet. The SEC is anticipated to provide an update regarding the closure of the appeal during the August 15th meeting between the parties. Procedure. It is highly doubtful that a settlement will be reached before the August 15th report. Will something occur prior to August 15th? This is highly implausible. According to legal experts and attorneys in the field, we should have a roadmap for how long this should take by August 15th. Unless the court lifts the injunction, which is unlikely given its current length, Ripple will continue to be prohibited from selling unregistered institutional XRP. Since this was all said and done years ago, there shouldn't be any effect on XRP's legal standing as a non-security for secondary market transactions. Here, we don't even need to be concerned about this aspect. What can cause closure and SEC appeal withdrawals to be delayed? Therefore, we might go into a spiral if the SEC breaks their word and chooses to keep the appeal pending. I hope that doesn't occur. If that were to occur, I would anticipate that individuals will begin selling XRP because they are afraid to keep it if this scenario continues. People want this resolved throughout the course of the ensuing years. Even though I don't believe this would occur, I must nonetheless warn you about the hazards. Additional discussions or last-minute requests from either party. Any last-minute issues could potentially cause us to be delayed, as could the judge's decision to hold more hearings or demand more reporting from both parties. So let's hope that doesn't happen. We received the timeline on August 15th, and over the course of the following 2 months, this will all be resolved. I do see the SEC allowing the spot XRP ETFs after that. Recall that 11 institutions have expressed interest in various ETF-like products. They are spot ETFs in large numbers. BlackRock is the largest organization with assets under management, and I would rank them among the others. The Bitcoin ETF is the largest and most successful ETF that BlackRock has ever released, and they are moving forward with it due to consumer demand. Therefore, I would assume that BlackRock is also considering alternative options for their next significant venture in the cryptocurrency field, which could undoubtedly be XRP. Here is a video I made about Nate Garassi. This dude is well connected. He owns an ETF business. He is connected to BlackRock and he thinks the company will file an XRP ETF, so that's one of the options we might be considering. Ripple IPO rumors, of course. Oh, let me show you this first. Take a look at how popular XRP ETFs are. The SEC's top ETF applications at the moment are listed below. From Aptos at 1, it drops all the way to XRP plus 10. As you can see, there is twice as much demand for an XRP ETF as there is for Solana, which comes in second. Therefore, it is clear that these institutions are laser focused on what they think their clients will be most interested in. And you, the XRP army, are to blame for it. I don't need it since I don't see the Solana army or the Doge army or Litecoin army as frequently as you do on a daily basis. That therefore reveals a lot about your personal characteristics and the reasons the institutions would do everything in their power to deliver these goods to you as soon as possible and safely. Rumors of an IPO room also exist, correct? Our recent Circle IPO was a huge success for them. A few months ago, Brad Garlinghouse stated that Ripple isn't currently interested in going public. Companies typically go public because they need to raise capital. As of right now, Ripple's war chest is worth more than $150 billion. They are not required to conduct an IPO. In 2026, we will have to see if Ripple will take that into consideration. However, some people think that likely take place, and if it does, the Ripple IPO will impact the price of Ripple shares, not XRP. However, the news and publicity surrounding this could lead to a rush of XRP purchases. We have milestones for the RUSD stablecoin, of course. Well over 500 million RUSD. It should be worth between 800 million and 1 billion by the end of the year. Institutions are also discovering new applications for stablecoins, and Blue Chip recently gave Ripple stablecoin RLUSD the highest rating of any stablecoin worldwide. They received an A, Tether received a D Circle, received a B+. Institutions are also taking a look at this and stating that Tether isn't looking very attractive at the moment. If Tether receives a D, we probably don't want to get engaged. Tether's failure to disclose their one-to-one backing and demonstrate to the public and institutions that they genuinely have the funds to support their $160 billion stablecoin is the basis for their D grade. I have been warning folks about this for a long time. In the future, there might be a significant black swan event. It may be disastrous if any documents indicating that Tether lacks the funds are released. That would obviously benefit Ripple. Circle and the other stablecoin participants who are regularly present and fulfilling their legal obligations would benefit from it, to conduct business both here in the United States and, of course, globally. Ripple recently sought for a national banking license, which is similar to the US banking license. It may take 6 months to a year. Some claim that after applying, Ripple might receive a banking license in as little as a week. I made a video on it after doing all of the research, and we were able to disprove that. Asking the public what they think about Ripple becoming a bank is even necessary during public occasions. It's quite lengthy procedure, and no one has ever been able to jump frog everything else and obtain a banking license right away. Therefore, I do believe that this could occur in 2026. Personally, I believe it would be unlikely in 2025, but we'll have to wait and see. But consider it. In the event that Ripple turns into a bank, they will be interacting with other financial institutions on a peer-to-peer and bank-to-bank basis. I think that says a lot. Trust exists. It's already built in, since bank employees are aware of the daily struggles that banks face in order to continue operating. Additionally, there are numerous audits involved. It involves a great deal of reporting. Additionally, it would simply offer Ripple a competitive advantage against rivals without that kind of standing. Therefore, by permitting direct banking interactions, this would help hasten the adoption of RUSD and improve the validity and trust of Ripple's larger financial ecosystem. Additionally, it would provide them with a FedMaster account, allowing them to hold RUSD in reserves with the US federal government. Additionally, many people think that Ripple might be America's stable currency. There are only murmurs circulating in the X space here, nothing truly conclusive. There are, of course, significant improvements to the XRP ledger. We're discussing a number of enhancements that have been introduced or are in the process of being created, including reduced transaction costs, more price reductions, and increased institutional utility on a daily basis. Native bank rails, which facilitates banks and fintechs integration. The groundwork for enterprise-level adoption is laid by this architecture. Keep in mind that I've written a lot about how long it really takes a bank to establish its own infrastructure in the cryptocurrency market. The time it takes for banks to upgrade their own infrastructure might range from 2 to 5 years. For this reason, banks are likely to employ the infrastructure of startups like Ripple, Circle, Fireblocks, and others. Because if you are a bank and you're in competition with other banks, you may lose clients if you do not offer these new services. You lose demand and money when you lose customers. As you are aware, there are banks in the world that fail to change with the times, and as a result, they become bankrupt. Therefore, I do think that banks are currently working to improve their infrastructure, and they will choose Ripple and a few other providers if they wish to accomplish so effectively and swiftly. There is the EVM sidechain, of course. This is significant. A few weeks ago, the EVM sidechain was introduced. It launched 1,400 smart contracts in the first week. There is also a great demand for it. Even the TPS on the EVM sidechain has been observed to reach up to 16,000 or 15,000 TPS per second. Naturally, once we arrive, we must test that. However, the EVM sidechain did produce those higher TPSs in the early testing. For the sake of comparison, 3,000 to 5,000 Visa transactions occur every second. Up to 50,000 transactions per second can be handled by it. Swift processes fewer than 1,000 transactions per second. Approximately 5,000 MasterCard transactions occur per second. American Express is also scalable, handling over 14,000 transactions every second. Therefore, each of these factors is crucial. Additionally, the EVM layer essentially allows XRP to plug and play with 80 different blockchains at this time. This implies that developers can access the XRP ledger through this EVM bridge, which will offer liquidity, new users, new use cases, and new infrastructure.